Sometimes, as we go through life, the currents of life can become very strong. Being very highly creative, being in a flow state can have a lot of benefits, but what I've noticed over the years is it can also have some blind spots. Some of the teachers I've worked with, they refer to it as spiritual drunkenness. And so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing some insights that I feel I've gathered over the years that may help again on your path ahead. And again, if any of this has resonated with you or rings true to you, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other videos. In today's reflections, I'd like to ask you a couple questions and just invite you to take some time to reflect on them and see what comes up for you. I'll share a little bit about how I look at these things, and again, by reflecting on these, hopefully they can help navigate on the path ahead. So, number one is, what does it actually mean to be an artist to you? It's just something to really think about. Number two is, what is the role of an artist in society to you? What is your actual role? What are you contributing? Again, just taking some time to reflect on these things. Number three, do you have any sense of responsibility in being in that position of potential influence in society? Again, for some of us, there'll be a lot there. For some of us, there'll only be a little bit. Last, number four is, in what way do you see yourself personally contributing to the collective as a whole? The idea of what are you going to leave behind to help others in some way, shape, or form? Or are you doing everything you're doing for some other reason? And again, there's no right or wrong. Just by reflecting on these, they can help sort of create parameters for us to work within as we move ahead, and again, steer us maybe clear of some situations that can be a little sticky, so to speak. For myself, an artist has a fundamental attribute or characteristic, and that is fundamentally being able to create something that contains some sort of a message. It often will even tell a story, so to speak, and within that story there are lessons or wisdom to be gathered or shared, again, for the collective or for humanity as a whole. And what's been shared with me that's often interesting is that what we've noticed over the years is that in great art, the message is often there, even if the artist didn't intend for it to be there. Often people will interpret my music in certain ways, shapes, or forms that I did not even intend with those lyrics, but they hear it a certain way from their perspective, and I've learned over the years to allow that rather than try to correct them in what I intended, allowing my art to show up however it needs to show up for whoever it needs to show up for. So it's something to think about. And as far as responsibility, it's a very interesting word, responsibility. It's been taught to me that we can often reverse words and learn their true meaning. So hearing responsibility is having the ability to respond. And so when we put ourselves in front of a crowd and we're putting ourselves in a position of influence on whatever level of art you may be involved in, I suppose it's up to each of us to decide what morals we want to withhold as we put ourselves in that position of influence. As I've shared in my other videos, from time to time, you'll hear me often repeat certain principles or philosophies that have shaped my perspective. And I'm not saying that these things are right or wrong. In fact, I don't think you should believe anything I say. I don't even think you should believe most of what other human beings are saying out there. However, I do think it's important from time to time to listen to other people, to allow that information to wash over us, and not to just digest everything unconsciously, but to listen and see what rings true for us. I've often found that truth and authenticity, in my experience, has a type of ring to it, and that's a whole nother conversation that I could have. It's as though we instinctively know when someone is trying to share some element of truth with us, or whether they're trying to sell us a product or sponsored, or trying to indoctrinate us into some sort of philosophy or perspective as well. It's a very interesting thing. So again, just reflecting on exactly what responsibilities you feel you have as you're creating your art. And there is no right or wrong, but knowing what those positions are for you, again, can help you in the type of people you're going to choose to work with and moving forward. As far as contributing to the collective, if you take time to reflect, you can see that throughout history, many great artists, they all seem to have certain patterns that show up. One of them being they're all struggling with something deep. They all have these inner demons or battles going on, whether it's owning their masters or drugs and alcohol or bad relationships or bad record deals, whatever it may be. Seeing that pattern through the years, what I've noticed for myself is that if we take time to really go back and look at those great artists and really listen to what messages were coming through them, I believe we'll learn a little bit more about what I've started to notice, what I believe is really going on here. And that's, in some way, shape, or form, it's our role to the collective to pass on the baton. Whatever knowledge, wisdom, whatever inspired us, whatever lit that fire inside of us to move into the world and break through those barriers of inhibitions that keep others contained within their mind and in a cage. Our goal is to continue to stoke that fire and to continue to inspire others and pass on that baton is what I believe that we're all doing. So again, whether we're inspiring, uplifting, or reminding others of what home feels like, I believe it's each of us have our own dimension, our own frequency, our own attunement that we're bringing to that. However, again, as I said, I feel that when I've reflected on these, they've really helped me redefine who I am, how I show up in the world, who I choose to interact with, and it's definitely influenced the type of art that has come through me. So again, to conclude here, I hope some elements of these words have ignited some part of you to create your art from a deeper place, to reflect on the wisdom that you're bringing to the world, that if you are journeying out using any other methods, that you are bringing something home and sharing it through whatever art form you're doing, painting, sculpting, film, music, writing, poetry. Again, just keep stoking that fire, keep uplifting others, keep inspiring others, and if any of this has resonated with you, again, I invite you to check out some of my other videos, and I look forward to sharing in the future. Take care.